Hello, welcome back to the channel, and thanks for stopping by. So today, slightly different video, ish. It's much more of an analytical video rather than a gear demo or a review or anything like that. What we're going to be doing is taking a couple of fuzz pedals, one that is bass specific and one that is just a fuzz pedal. It doesn't specify guitar or bass. Trying them on a guitar and seeing if there are any differences or quite obvious differences between the two. So that's the plan. So looking forward to that, seeing what results we get. Before I go any further, a couple of very quick pieces of housekeeping. If you've liked anything here today, please don't forget to hit that like and or subscribe button. Really does help this small channel navigate the worlds of the YouTube algorithm. Failing that, just leave a comment, let me know what you thought below, or if you just wanted to let me know your favourite kind of pie, do that as well. I love the interaction. It's really great just having a chat with you all and getting to know you as a community. So yeah, and then I guess the other thing to always note is that the chapters are below, so if you do want to skip my waffling and just listen to some tones, feel free to do so. The main thing is just enjoy your short stay here, really. So what we're doing today is we're going to look at the differences and whether there are any subtle nuances between a pedal that is specifying it's a bass pedal and something that's not. Now, what I mean by that is where you have an SD1 that doesn't say that it's a guitar distortion pedal. However, the Bass Fuzz Deluxe, that's, the clues in the title is it's a Bass Deluxe Fuzz. So we're taking one pedal that says bass and one pedal that doesn't, and we're just going to see how they sound, if they differ on a guitar, and if there are any noticeable changes. The reason that we're doing this video, and it's very much a me question that I'm then just doing it because if I'm asking it, there'll be somebody else that's asking it, I'm sure. Follows a conversation I had with some friends and bandmates and stuff where I said that I hadn't found a guitar or a non-bass specific drive pedal, with one exception, that I thought sounded good on bass. Now, what I mean by that is every time that I see somebody running a DS1 or an SD1 or I don't think I've ever seen it, but a Tube Screamer, but a non-bass specific fuzz, for example, I never think they sound good. I think it always boosts, accentuates, whatever it does, however it reacts, I think it always does the wrong frequencies, and it means that the bass, and this is just what I've heard. I know there will be people out there that have, because it's all they can get, so they spend the time tweaking and all this stuff, but I've never heard a guitar-based fuzz or drive pedal, any sort of gain pedal that I think sounds good. Modulation, delay, compression, all that stuff, that's a different ball game, and I'm not going to touch on that because I think actually there are very good sounds in there. I'm purely talking or thinking about the drive sounds. I've never found a good one, minus one exception currently, which is the Conquistador by Way Huge. I think it sounds fantastic on bass and guitar. Or ironically, myself and my friend bassist both have this pedal, and neither of us actually use it in our day-to-day setups. It's not that we don't like it, it's just so specific that we can't put it into our live set currently. But I think that pedal sounds great on both. But it's things like the DS1, the SD1, the Metal Zone I don't think ever sounds good, but your typical drive pedals, I just don't think they sound very good on bass. Personally, you get into the bass realm, and whatever they've done with the circuits and the tone shaping and stuff, it just makes the bass really sing. So we're going to try today two fuzz pedals, one that is a bass specific one and one that's just a fuzz, and we're just going to see how they react to a guitar. Are there any noticeable nuances, differences? Does one sound better than the other? All those kinds of things. That's all we're going to do, but it's same guitar, same amp, different pedals. Just see how it sounds. We're not going to go into the world of bass because I'm not a bassist. I don't really have a home bass setup, but I know I have a bass behind me, but we're just going to focus on guitar because I know to a degree what I'm talking about there. So that's the plan for today, but there's been a lot of waffling. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick up a guitar, get it tuned up, get it set up, and then we'll start making some noise. So I will be right back. Okay, so as you can see, we're all here and set up and ready to go. We've got 2 pedals selected and plugged in. So just very quickly to go through the gear that we've got today, as always. So we're starting with the Blanche Flower thin line that we've seen quite a lot recently. And this is with the T-style bare knuckles in them. Then from there, we're going through the practical patch cables into the custom pedal boards muff wall, which is their take on a boutique big muff. Then into the Electro Harmonics Big Muff Pi. Please ignore the little faces on it. This was a birthday present for our friend, and so for some reason we decided to shove our couple of passport photos on there, as you do. So that's the one that I'm borrowing. From there, we're going from a practical patch cable again up to the Victory, the Duchess. Nice clean pedal platform. I actually find it works quite well with muff style pedals. So yeah, that's that, but it's a very clean platform. So this is our clean tone. It's very nice, very dry. There's no reverb or anything, just to make sure we're not muddying the waters at all. But yeah, that's the clean tone. They're the pedals. So let's get rid of the mic, and I'm just going to fiddle, make some sounds, see what it sounds like, and whether one sounds audibly better than the other. So without further ado, let's make some noise. Okay, so there's a little bit of tone, there's a little bit of playing with both of the pedals. I've just sat and listened back to a little bit because it was quite difficult to hear in the room, whether there were any nuances or anything. And my initial, after having listened back and really sort of trying to pinpoint the differences, I think the overall thought is they both sound great as pedals. The muff war, in terms of being used for a guitar, it was far more readily available. The tones that came out without having to tweak too much were far more usable than the bass big muff on the guitar. It certainly it was almost like at times it felt like there was a blanket over the speaker, in terms of missing that high fidelity, some of the clarity, which is to be expected when you're buying something that is there as a bass pedal. Again, a little bit of tweaking, bringing the tone in, playing with the volume and the sustain, and especially the switch in the middle, that toggle switch, which seems to be dry, norm, and bass boost. They accentuated different frequencies and available. If that's the only pedal I have, I can gig with that and make it work with tone shaping. However, it would take 10, 15, 20 minutes of playing to really get what I deem personally as a usable tone. Whereas on guitar, the muff war was far more usable out of the box. So has this very short, very inaccurate test shown us anything? I mean, not really. I think it's what we all thought is the bass pedal is for a bass guitar. So, of course, it's going to sound less usable on a guitar. However, does that partially prove my own point to why I may have not heard bass guitars using guitar effects that personally is something that I find pleasing? A little bit, yeah. I think I can see why the EQ shaping and the sculpting and stuff would be, not as accurate as what we've got on the bass. So yeah, it's a very inaccurate, not that great of a test, but it's something that I thought would be interesting for a video. And the final thoughts are, yes, the bass pedal is definitely going to be more suited to a bass guitar, and then I should really, as a comparison, try these two pedals with the bass. I would just want to give it a fair chance, so I might see if I can borrow a bass preamp of some description, and then do the same with the same two pedals. So leave that with me. But yeah, for the moment, the bass pedal sounds better with the bass. The guitar pedal sounds better with the guitar. There you go. Nice, swift, easy conclusion. So thank you very much for stopping by. If you have enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like and maybe the subscribe button. If you've got any thoughts or comments, leave them below. Even if you are, wanting to completely disagree with what I've said, which is fine. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you use some guitar pedals in your bass rig. So yeah, thank you very much for stopping by. I do hope you've enjoyed it. And until the next one, take care.